Hello everyone, welcome back to our HTML tutorial series. Today we are going to learn about HTML tables, which is one of the most important topics for displaying structured data on web pages. So I think now you have a question. What is HTML table, right? So what exactly is an HTML table? An HTML table is a way of displaying data in a rows and columns. So think of it like a spreadsheet in Excel or a Google Sheets. So it's a popular way of organizing and presenting information on websites. So tables are incredibly useful and widely used across the internet. So you will find them displaying like financial data, like budgets, and expenses, schedules and timetables, pricing plans and comparison charts, students' records, grades, and many other types of data that need to be organized systematically, right? So those type of systematical data representation we are using the tables. So basic table structure will look like a table format, structure format, right? So that structure format we have to follow some tags in HTML. So those tags are table, tr, th, and td. So these are the main four tags we are using in a HTML table. Okay, so first one is the table. Okay, so this is the main container that defines the entire table. So next one is tr. So tr tag is the stands for table row. Tr means table row. So this tag defines each row in a your table. Okay, so third one is th. Th stands for table header. This tag defines header cells, which are typically the column titles. Okay, so next fourth one is td. Td stands for table data. This tag defines the actual data cells in your table. So remember these simple hierarchy. Table contain rows and rows container rows contain a header cells or a data cells. Okay. So now you have understood. Inside table we are having rows and row contains the table header and table data. Okay, so this the each rows we call it as a cells. Okay, so next let us move on with a simple table example. So you can see we have created some more simple table. So you can see the output will look like this format. So this is a simple format. There is a heading, table, roll number, name, course. Okay, so here we're representing single person data. So that code should be look like this. Okay, so let me type code and explain. Okay, so let me type each line of code with a practical example and show you how it will come. Okay, so let us start with the VS Code. Take a new file. Okay, so in this file, just use HTML boilerplate code. Okay, so just start with the table header, right? So first, what we have to container, that is a table. We are going to take table. So inside table, we are going to take a row, right? Now we create our first row with a tr tag. So we are using tr tag. So inside tr tag, we will be having the header, roll number, right? So the output, how it looks. So inside table, we are having first row, roll number, name, and course, right? So that we have to create first. That is table header, right? So for that reason, we are taking th. Okay. So inside th, we are going to write the table header names. Okay, so what is first? Roll number. Same way, next header is what? Name, right? So th. So next one is course, right? So we'll take it as course. I will run with output. Just you can see here. See roll number, name, and name. One more table heading is course, right? So this is a table heading. Now we are going to create here for real data we are inserting in a table data. Okay, so this time we are using the tag. So the first row is complete. So next we are going to create one more row for table data. Okay, I will keep it as screen. Okay, now you can see the output. Just I'll refresh. All three headings will come: roll number, name, and course. Right. So next row we are going to create. Close the row, first row, then create next row. So in that next row, we are going to first table data. So for that one, we are using TD table data. We are inserting, right. So TD 101. So this is table data. So next TD name. Name is Ravi, right? So next is CS. Okay, so this way we are going to add table data. Okay, just if I refresh this one, you can get the roll number, name, course, right? So now we are getting the data, table data. So this way we are getting the table. So now you can see, so it is in this table, it doesn't have any border, right? So if we create table, it looks like in the standard format only, but we don't have the outer line. So we want outer line, we need to add a border for table. So just I'll give border is equal to 1. Just that is the size of the border. Just I'm giving 1. So now the table border will come. Okay. So you have to create like this simple table. So first in table heading. So inside table we are going to create first row. So first row always we are using the table header, right? So for that reason we are creating the TR inside TH tag. So inside TH we are writing each column heading name. So then close the TR tag. So then open new TR tag. So inside we are creating the TD. So table data. So table data inside we are writing the data. Okay, so this way we are creating the simple table. If we want border for a table, we are going to add border is equal to 1 size. How much we want we can add. So here you can see it is double line border. Each table data contains the outside border and complete table is having one border. So for that reason you can see here double border you can see. So I will tell you how single border line you have to create with the different attributes. We'll explain next page. Okay, so now you notice how table has to be created, right? So data aligns perfectly under each header and roll number column has 101 and name column has Ravi and course column has CS. So this is the basic structure you use for every table to create. The pattern is simple, right? Open a table, create a row, fill the headers or data. So this is how we are creating proper way of tables. Okay, so I strongly recommend you to pause this video right now and try creating this table yourself in your code editor. Okay, so add maybe 2 to 3 more student details along with this table. So I already showed you a table border. So why we need table borders? You might have noticed in the example, right? So we created the table which does not able to visible the border. So by default, the table border will not be there, right? So in this section, we will learn how to add the table border. I already showed you in that example. So same thing we'll learn it briefly. To add a border to your table, you use the border attribute. Okay. So the opening table tag, the syntax is very simple. You can see here table border is equal to 1. 1 means you are getting the thin border. Already you've seen that one, right? So border is equal to 1 means you can give the thin border. If you give a border is equal to 5 means it is a medium border. If you give border is equal to 10, it is a thick border. Okay, and here is an important fact. The default value for the border attribute is 0. Okay, default value for the border is 0. You should remember this one, which means no border at all. So 0 means no border at all. For that reason only, when we created a simple table, so there it doesn't have the border, right? So for that reason, because the default border size is 0. So 0 means no border. Okay, so that's why our previous table had no visible lines, right? Okay. So let's go with this example um, once again. So just change the border and check it. Okay. Now I'll change the border 5. Just refresh this. See, you can able to see the border thickness. If I give 10, you get thicker border, right? So like this, you can create a very thick border or bold border. So the border size you need to be modified. Okay. So I think now you have understood about table border. Okay. So let us move on to the. Okay, so now that you know already basic table structure, right? So let's explore some additional table tags that you will give you more control and better organizing of your tables. Okay, so tag by tag explanation I am going to do. So let me explain. First one is table tag. You already know table tag, and th tag, which defines the header cell in the table, and tr you already know, it defines row of the table, and td is defines the table data. Okay, so next one is caption. So caption means if you are creating a table, so the table should if you want to create some name for the table. Okay, so for that one we are using the table caption. It adds a title or a description to your table. It appears above the table. By default, it helps users to understand about the table. Okay, so next one is a column group, right? So this column group means it specifies formatting entire columns at once. Okay, so entire columns, if you want to format it, you can use column group. I will show you an example with a practical. Okay, so next one is col. Just to see COL means it specifies the column properties for each column with a column group. When you create the column group, so each column it specifies separately. Okay, so next is t head. T head means what? So t head is the group all your header rows. Okay, together it's used as a separate the header section from the body of the table. Okay, when you create a group, so that group of header you can use the t head. Okay, so next is t body. So this is a group of all your data rows together. It represents the main content of your table. So next to t foot. So this bottom side, if you want any summary, you can use the t foot. So it is a groups that footer content in the table. Okay, so let us see with a simple example columns. Okay, so these two are different row span and column span. We are using it for a merging row or columns in a table. Okay, this is a very important thing when you are going to create a complex tables. Okay, so merges vertically when you use row span, so merges horizontally when you use column span, right? So we'll see the practical example for this one, then we'll get the output how this will work. Okay, so this is a simple example of, okay, so this one you take a screenshot and try afterwards. When I complete simple example, you can try this one, and we'll try this marks card. Okay, you can see your marks sheets when you will get an results, your college results, you will get a marks like this table, right? So how to create like these tables, I will explain with the one same example. Okay, so then you can try with the this example. Okay, you can try any other examples. First I will explain how to create this complex type of tables. Okay, let us start. Okay, let us create this table now. Okay, we'll move on to HTML table. Just HTML basic code. Okay, now I will show the output screen also for you get the better understanding. Okay, now inside body, I'm going to create table tag. Okay, so inside this table, before taking the table, just I will create a one student report card. You can give sorry, report code 2025 26. Okay, so now we'll start the table. First, keep it a border per table is equal to 1. Okay. So let us start with the caption. Why we are using caption? To give the table heading, table name. Okay. So caption tag I'm using. Okay. So inside this caption, we are going to create annual student report. Student report card. Okay. So this is caption. So next we hit. So just inside table header, we are going to create one row, table row. Okay, so inside table row, we are going to create table header. So for this table header, I'm going to create a row span. For row span is equal to 2. I'll give. So for student name, first one is student name, right? Student name. So first header as complete. So next table header. Here also I'll take column span is equal to 3. Why I will tell you. So this one is subject. So here we have subject marks. Okay. So next one more table row. So that is row span is equal to 2. Okay. Row span is equal to 2. Then uh, total pH row span is equal to 2. Okay, I'll take 2. Will we take first percentage then result? Now one pH math science CIEN science. Okay. So next table header is because why we have created like this. Now table header close. Just I'll refresh this one. See why I have created here 3 row span, column 3 row span it should take because we are having 3 different subjects. Student names for 2 rows we have taken for total 2 and percentage 2 results also 2 because lastly we have to combine. So for that reason we have to take 2 rows. The body data we are going to fill, right? So next T body, sorry, T body. Inside T body I'm going to create table row. So inside row we are going to create table data. Table data. First table data just we are having the name Rahul, right? Rahul something was it? I was not able to remember. So let us add the marks each. So first Rahul maths marks, I'll keep it as 80. Okay. What is next? Science, right? So for science, I'll keep it as scientific. So next TD, I'll keep it a marks as English. English 92 I'll give. So after this total of 3. After this table data, we are going to fill total marks, right? Total how much? Here the total is 247. Okay. So next, how much percentage? Something I'll keep. Sorry, instead of TD. Okay. So I'll keep it as 85%. Just approximately I had given. So next one more table data is he has passed. Right? Result is pass. So now we are going to close the table row. So same way I'll copy few more data. Okay. Just I'll change the name instead of Rahul. I'll keep Santosh. Marks I'll change it to 90, 95, something 89, 95. So it's around 70 plus it's come. Okay, just 90% I'll give. Don't get it. It is not right. Just simply I am putting. Okay. So pass. So like this, I'll give instead of Rahul, Chanu. So the marks is some lower marks will be 45, 52, 60, 68. The total will be 165. Okay, then it is 55%. Okay, the total, I think he has failed. Okay, just put a fail. Okay. So like this, we are going to fill the data of student. So I'll add one more data. Only three rows data will be added. We'll add one more data. One. Okay, I'll add five. So instead of John, I'll change the name. Neha into. Okay, just nothing have changed. So next, one student will keep it as absent. She is absent for first subjects, math, right? She is absent for the first subject. So what we are giving, she has failed. So what we have to do for this one? We could not able to total, right? So this one we cannot able to do it. So not applicable. This one so not applicable. Just to keep it, I'll keep it this month's 90. Okay, just it's pending because she has not written the proper exam, right? So for that reason, we'll create her one more row for this one. Okay, so the column span is equal to 3. Column span is equal to 3. Okay, just well, okay, and this one we have to add inside table 2. Right. So next we are going to add the examination schedule for her. Should see. Yeah. Table will look like this, right? The table row we have created one more row. Okay, this I have to create it in TD. Sorry. TD, TD, TD. This one we have to create one more row. ER for her. Okay, inside the her I'm going to paste this one because it is data. Okay, so now we close the row. Lastly, we have to do footer. So T footer, what we will do? T foot. The total all students as a T foot, right? T foot. Okay. T foot. Inside T foot, I'm going to create one row. Okay, inside a row I'm going to create table data. So here we have to combine all the columns. So for that reason all span I'm going to take just 4, 1 2 3 4 4. I'm going to combine, just will give class average. So just will give some marks to this one more table data 80%, 80.7, 8.5%. Next DD. Next DD is pass pass rate, right? Pass rate is 83%. Next we'll close TD. Next we'll close TR close, T food close, T body close. Sorry, T body I had to close before T food start. Okay, T body here and close. Control Z. I'm going to correct T body and close. Refresh the examination schedule for this Sindhu, and the class average marks will look like this. You can see the table like this, right? Sorry, this one re-examination scheduled was missed because this student Sindhu will have to give the row span 2. So who is Sindhu? Where is Sindhu? Because it is differentiated, right? So Sindhu, I'll create, okay, row span because it merged two rows, right? Row span. Now, yeah, now it's came perfectly. So Sindhu, the row span is 2. It's merged and it look like this. Something is different. It is coming. Okay, now not applicable, and pending. Okay, we'll see the output. Okay, here also we have to merge the row span for here, right? TD row span 2. Here also have to keep row span is equal to 2. Here also give not row, it's row span, right? Row span. Okay, now I'll refresh. Now it's perfect. Okay, so like this, we are going to merging row span and column span. Here we are merging two rows, right? For that reason, we are using row span. See here, TD, we are merging three columns for three class average or re-examination combined. For here, we have combined columns. So for that reason, here we have used column span. Okay, so like this, you can create the different tables with a different structure. It depends on the requirements of table you should display. Okay, so in this format, you are going to create the tables. Okay, so now we have created this one. So you try to create this one, take a screenshot and you try to create like this. So next, I'll show you one more table. So this is a perfect colorful table, right? So it looks good. So for this one, we are using the styling CSS. Okay, so for this colorful table, we have to learn the CSS. So for next class, you learn CSS, then you can implement this one in your HTML code. Okay, so let us learn CSS, then we will implement these things in our project, right? So next class, I'll teach you CSS. So or else you can learn CSS classes, CSS from CSS classes, then you implement this one. Okay. So first you go and learn CSS class, basic CSS, then you implement this styling with your example. What I have explained the same example, you try this coloring and try this example. Okay. So keep learning. So merging cells might seem tricky at first, but with practice it becomes second nature. So by practice you will get it easier. It becomes second easiest part in the table. So these attributes give you tremendous flexibility in creating the professional tables for any kind of data. Okay. So in the next assignment you try this one and get a hands-on practice with the creating complex tables using row span and column span. Don't skip it. Okay, so that's where the real learning happens. Okay, so enjoy with the coding and learn these things with a more practice